obviously there's so many podcast listeners and stuff like that. And if you're gonna go that route, like the media, advertising in the media, you want to have a specific, like, focus, target of people to focus on that you would want to, I guess, target your subject or podcast towards, you know. Yeah, for example, if you're gonna make a podcast all about sewing and knitting and crocheting, you might want to target your target audience is just gonna be old ladies, you know, grandmas. But if you're talking about the newest fashion trends, that yada yada, millennials, you understand there's a difference depending on your subject, your topics, of, like, you know, where you would want to advertise your podcast here. So really all up to you. Do you have any sorry. Do you have any ideas right off the bat about things you would want to bring up, general, or just like brainstorm things like on the spot, unless you've already thought about something, you know? I know that a lot of people, when they start their podcast, they kind of already have an idea. They like envision what they want it to be, and they kind of just make a little bit of a mind picture, you know. So let's hear it from you. Well, what do you have thinking up, you know? Could be totally random, something you already considered. Just throw it at me. Yeah, no, the beauty industry right now is booming some way. There's a lot of scandals going on. Always for that, like a little bit of a frenemies moment. Yeah, totally. I mean, that show's been booming right now recently. You could totally go that route, but you'll have to match those opinions, you know. If you're gonna talk about such bold matters, you gotta be bold, you gotta match it, you know. Gotta create a balance. You don't want to be talking about heavy stuff and have a kitten on your little bed, like on your tabletop, your counter. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, I mean, there's a number of factors.